Welcome back. March single family stats. So we're going to start off as always with the rentals. Every month I come on here, I hope the market either cuts in half or doubles or things are going crazy behind me. It is reliably predictable. So I'll go over some interesting stats with March, but pretty flat all across the board. So we'll start off with our average rents. So as you can see from the graph, super flat, stays right around that 2,200 mark. Actually, March was exactly at 2,200, so it dropped a couple bucks there. The vacancy rate kind of on a decline. So you see that coming down. It was 8.24% back at the end of last year, 6.35% now. So it's kind of a big drop there. Average listed rents, you see this dip again in the slower months and then come back up pretty strong. This is the highest average listed rents we've seen since we started tracking it. $2,313 right now for the average listed rents. So about $100 higher than what we're actually seeing people move into. This is an interesting one. So for the previous 3 months, the average properties on Zillow stayed pretty flat around 1,050-ish. This was the first month we saw a drop under 1,000 and it actually went to 936. So pretty big decline in supply right there. Average days on market, this is not surprising. We did see the days sitting a little bit longer, November, December, and then even January. That's when everybody hates property management companies because they can't rent them out fast enough, and it's our fault, it's not the market. But then you see February and March declines a little bit to 33 days on the market, and then last month was 32 days on the market. So right around that average 4-week time for an appropriately priced property. Keyword is appropriate there. The median days, again, big numbers on November, December, January. February, we saw a big decline, and then a little bit higher for March, but obviously February is when people get a lot of tax returns. A lot of people are putting deposits down, ready to make that move. And so February, we did see a really big drop in both average and median days on market. The inquiries, very, very light. Again, we're kind of seeing a trend, not a ton of people moving at the end of last year, beginning of this year. And then in February, tons of people were inquiring about properties for rent. And then March stayed pretty steady. It did drop from 10 to 9, but still very, very steady where we're at. Believe it or not, regardless of how many inquiries we got, one application every time. So whether we get 6 inquiries or 10 inquiries, it always translates to right around one application for all of those inquiries. So kind of interesting there as well. Accepted applications. This one was really interesting. In February, we saw about half of the applications get approved. And in March, with the exact same criteria, so nothing changes on our end, that dropped down to 29%. So we saw an increase of people applying that did not get qualified. So underqualified people were applying a lot more in March, which we'll kind of see how that pans out as the months trend forward. This was also a really interesting fact. I thought it would be very helpful. So this shows you the average eviction rates per county. So you can kind of see all of the counties on here. And if you see Kern right there, it's right in the 20s. And Ascend is actually less than half of 1%. So 0.35% of properties that Ascend manages has an eviction. So for everybody out there that hears the horror stories and sees all these things happening with evictions and squatters, it does happen. It does happen. Very, very low at Ascend. Interesting. And that about covers the rental market for the single family homes in Bakersfield. We are seeing it super flat, everything staying pretty consistent. Once February hit, went back to our normal levels there, and we kind of saw some stability in the rental market. So Baco Cali sales for March 2026. Let's see what happened. February, list price was $519. Kind of crazy. March, we saw $509. So the listing prices dipped down about $10,000 from $519 to $509. The actual sold prices in February, $427, but those came up. So the listing prices came down, but the actual sold prices came up. Maybe they meet in the middle sometime? I don't know. I'll let you know. On the average price per square foot, not surprisingly, since the sold price went up, obviously the price per square foot went up from $232 in February to $237 in March. So no big surprises there. Total properties for sale in February was 826. Super flat in March, 829, basically stayed exactly the same. And the pending is interesting though. In February, it was 322 houses went pending. Big jump to 464. So a lot of houses went pending, even though the same number was for sale. And then actual sold that got sold from February, 276 to March, 311. So we're seeing a lot more pending. We're seeing some more sold, but for sale kind of staying flat. So that's going to shrink the inventory if those numbers stay, which is going to get those prices up a little bit more too. So we'll see how that shakes out as the summer months come. And the percentage that the sellers are getting from what they list to what they actually sell for was 97% in February, 98% in March. That number's been pretty flat for the last 12 months, you can see. But the days on market, you'll see kind of go up a little bit when it gets a little colder outside, people don't want to move, and then drop down. February was 46 days on the market. We're dropping down to 39 days for last month. So houses are sitting on the market less long. They're selling for a little bit more, and we're seeing that list price come down a little bit. Overall, for both the rentals and the sales, super stable market. Kind of boring, honestly. I hope I could tell you something crazy happened, but it's relatively flat, stable, and really good. If you're a buyer, there's tons of inventory to seek out and look at and kind of be a little pickier. But if you're a seller, you're still seeing things sell. About 39 days on average right now, things are getting sold. So you're not sitting for terribly long. Buyers aren't overpaying. Landlords, same thing on the rental side. Average rents are staying flat. Vacancies coming down a little bit. So we're seeing the supply for both shrink a little bit. We'll see how that plays out in the next couple months. But as always, if you're a landlord, a buyer, an investor, you're looking to sell your house, obviously you know who to call by now. It's crazy you haven't called me yet, but give me a call down below. All of my information is there. And if you're a renter looking for a property, you can always visit our website down below. Thank you guys. We'll see you again in May.